Alright, so we're here for round number 4 of the Elite FangioGP Elite Championship. We're here in Germany today. It's basically the same race for everybody. Once again, Mr. Ricksking is here to join me tonight.
Good night, guys.
And one thing, due to the attendance, again, pretty low, we're starting with 6 drivers today, I think. And the race distance has been reduced to 50%. So the stream will be a bit shorter. But yeah, that should maybe create a bit of a quicker race for these guys. So yeah, unlike last time in Monaco, they shouldn't be as bored if they drive alone for a bit. So there you go. Counting actually only 5 people at the moment. Is there somebody missing here? So for these guys, yeah, it's going to be pretty much a sprint race. So I wonder why this session has not been started yet. I'm waiting for something or somebody.
I don't know, Include is not clear whether he should start it.
Everybody's good to go. Maybe they're missing somebody still. There we go. Alright, so I wonder if they get a wet qualifying like we did. Well, congratulations on your victory yesterday, by the way.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was difficult conditions at the qualifying, and they should have a hard work with it too. With changing conditions, it's always very hard.
Indeed, let's hope we actually get some changing weather conditions. Should really spice things up during the race. Qualifying, it shouldn't matter that much. But we're heading into qualifying first, of course, a 15-minute qualifying session. We'll decide the starting grid. It says rain, but it is dry, so let's see what the weather projection is. It said dry for us yesterday and it was raining, so this is actually the opposite day, it seems, with this game, with this track anyway. Again, it says 100% chance of rain, but at least it starts out dry. Race has 90% chance of rain, so there you go, that's something. It could be just a little drizzle, could be actually some proper proper problems for these guys. So you see, let's myself retire from the session. There you go. As did Ricksking, of course. Let's not get in the way of these boys. So yep, there are only 5 people today, it seems, and somebody is already out on track. Desi is the first to get out in the Toro Rosso. He goes out on, I think it's prime tires.
If the rain will come down early, then this is not a good choice, I think.
Well, depends on when the rain comes, you know.
Yes, well, it's cloudy, but well, I don't know. It's sad that we don't have these machines which can tell us the weather right now.
I think there is still a tactical choice to be made for the race itself. I mean, if the weather race starts dry, you might actually want to be on the tire that lasts a bit longer. But yeah, there's no telling when the rain would actually fall. Maybe it's at the beginning, maybe it's later on. You don't quite know that yet. It's dry now, so everybody will probably stick to their dry strategy for as long as possible. So Desi is still warming up. Let's see what everybody else is doing quickly. Texon is going on the options. Include is picking the harder tires, like Desi. So is Daniel going for the harder tires. Saf, harder tires to be expected. And there you go. That's all of the boys present today.
So it's just Texan gambling on the soft tires.
Yep.
Everybody else on hards or mediums.
Desi is starting on his hot lap, going down the main straight. DRS open, of course, braking hard for corner number 1. A tricky little turn, which dips in a little bit. Long sweeping left-hander into the very tricky section, a left and a right. He has to be careful on the entry and exit. It's very easy, takes it very safely. He's a bit wide, no problem there. Track is an old school track, so very narrow, very bumpy. It's not one of my personal favorites as he reaches the hairpin there. Ooh, misses it a bit, goes wide, so that will hurt his time a little bit. He goes up the hill. And quick left-right winner again before he reaches sector 3. DRS open, uses remaining DRS, of course, sorry about that. And onto the chicane, braking hard just after 100 meter board. And back onto the straight. And he sets a 1:29.108, and he slows down already, it seems, going for a 1 lap run. Texon theory should be faster.
It's in the last straight, DRS open, and 1:28.
There you go, only a couple lengths faster though, so Desi has good pace on the harder tyres. Compared to... here's the other force that always should be reckoned with. Oh, that's not the person I was looking for. Looking for South, but I missed him there. I'm with Include now. Ooh, a bit slippery through the chicane. Reaching at least just the final corner now. Smooth exit. Slower time than everybody else. Goes into 4th place with a 1:30.679.
It seems to me that Daniel is on just a, I don't know, a warm-up lap or something like that, because he's slow.
Maybe he made a mistake early on the lap and abandoned it and was ready to try again.
He might take too much out of his tires with 2 laps. From the earlier races, you could see that the medium tires only last for 9 or maximum 10, 11 laps, while the soft tires last 6, 7 laps.
Tire wear is indeed very high, especially when it's cloudy, and then tires have to work extra hard, and the prime tires don't seem to be lasting that much, as Daniel runs a little bit wide. I continue on to follow him in his lap. As he's now into sector 2. He's zimming down the hairpin. Still have to say, I find this track, this Nürburgring, more interesting than the Hockenheim. It's the other German track which they alternate yearly. It takes a sufficiently wide line through that run up the hill for some reason. Oh, goes wide on the entry. Should compromise him a little bit. Saves his curse for the run up the straight, so people use their curse differently. As far as I can tell, there's still no rain on track. The last corner for Daniel, also wide again, and into the gravel. Still sets a 1:30.066, so there would have been a lot more in that. He slows down. Let's have a little quick overview. Zav was kind of expecting him to be on the pole. There he is with a 1:28.837 on the harder tires, mind you. Out qualifying Texon at the moment, who qualified on the options, very small margin, but still.
Desi's out on options.
There you go, Desi's changing strategy. Wants to be ahead of the pack at the start of the race, but Saf is a very quick man regardless of what tire he is on. There goes Desi on my screen. He runs up the hill. Daniel in 4th, as you just saw, and Include is in 5th. Include so far well off the pace compared to the rest. He's 1.8 seconds slower than Saf, and they were on the same tyre, so that's quite a margin. Let's go back on the action. Saf has hit the gravel somewhere.
Yes, before the DRS zone he went wide, but
that looks of it, he's still on my lap, warm-up lap.
He should be able to
I'm gonna follow Desi, see what he can do. He also touched the gravel somewhere, which is not good to do on your out lap. There you go, boosting onto the straight, DRS open, and starts his second timed lap on the options this time around. Very late for corner 1, nails the apex, a bit wobbly on the exit. Long left-hander seems more smoothly there, ties it up nicely. A bit wide on entry, number 3, it's number 5 quite right. Powers on, do a quick left right-hander. I think he missed his apex a little bit there. He doesn't seem to be doing too badly. Storms into the hairpin, bottom of the hill. Uses curves as far as run up the hill, still has half his curves left. DRS open, use his last of his curves. It's kind of funny to see that people use their curves in different areas.
Well, everybody has his own pattern.
Clubs over the chicane. I would have hurt him. Let's see what he can make of this lap time still. Yes, he definitely lost a lot. Third place only still with a 129.108. Could have gone better. Didn't see any major mistakes apart from the one at the chicane, so that probably would have cost him.
So he's on a flyer, it seems like. Getting up to the chicane, taking it nicely. No wheel spin. Then getting up to the final corner, starting from the outside and keeping it on the outside, and up the DRS goes, but he doesn't improve.
Yeah, I really wish we could see split times on this point of view. That would really help, but unfortunately we do not, so we're limited. Following Texon now. Right, the 5-minute marker is almost there. People throwing in a lot of tyres. Oh, maybe. Maximizes the track as best as he can. He zips now up the hill. If you're racing with AI, this is probably the most dangerous corner since they brake so much earlier than you. Oh, no, he abandons the lap. There's still time for him to come again. So maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe he was too far back on the split times and who thought better of it. Let's get a new set and try again. Or maybe he is just giving up altogether. Dazzy also into the pit box. Texon indeed retired. So he's done. He doesn't think he can improve himself further. Or is not willing to risk any more tyres. I have to alt enter quickly, so the view is going to change for you guys a little bit. Please apologize. Alright, I need to check something there. This seems to be working alright. I think everybody is going into the box at the moment. Yep, also include also ends his lap. So I wonder if somebody is coming out again. Because it is a very quiet track.
And now the rain arrives.
Now the rain arrives. Maybe that's why they all. And again, now they will maybe saw some raindrops before we did. Nobody thinks we'll improve their time. So Saf will probably take pole then if nobody comes out. Well, he will be sure to take pole if nobody comes out. It's Texon team to secure second place. Dazzy in third, Daniel fourth, and Include is in fifth. Texon is actually starting a vote now. I will not agree with the vote.
I do believe that this is not... I think we had an agreement that we don't do this. But,
No. Oh, well, they can end it simply by just retiring. They don't have to wait in the box. They can just retire. That's still a legal move in this championship, so they can retire from the session if they want. And if everybody just retires, the session is done.
Everybody is just, I think, watching out for tires.
Probably. It's a high wear track, especially when the sun isn't out. The track isn't as grippy. It really punishes the tires. Having a little drink there. So, I'm sure you watched the Brazilian Grand Prix.
You read my mind now.
Like everybody is starting to vote, but nobody votes enough to end it. Maybe because we're not voting with it, but there you have it. It's a bit too bad that the rain never really got on the track, I would say, in the Formula 1 race.
Yeah, I would have been happy if we could have had a wet race after every wet session, but it wasn't meant to be. But I do believe it wasn't a too bad race. We had some controversies like the penalty of Massa and Hamilton flying into Bottas.
Yep.
But I think the man of the race was Webber, and because of what he did after the finish.
Yeah, that was pretty cool actually. Actually, I was watching the BBC, the interview, the Red Bun. He like, nobody ever done that before, and I don't think I ever recalled anybody doing that at all in the Formula 1 car.
And after that, I'm just missing that they could have done something like that for Schumacher, but unfortunately he wasn't on the podium on his last races in 2006 and in 2012. But it was a good sending off, I think. It was a very fitting sending off for him.
Everybody, a lot of praise as well. I also love the respect that the Ferrari team had for Massa. It's quite emotional for him as well. Look at everybody wearing special shirts with his helmet colors on it. If you saw that, it was pretty cool. So, I'm gonna try this now, see if it works, and use a spare invite. There you go. I still have your spare invite, thank God.
I'm going off to and try this. None of us might succeed.
Yep, I am joining the online session. It says, and bam, I'm in. Cannot join the session, so I have to wait until they get on the grid after they have cited their tire strategies. Of course, they will be seeing what kind of weather they have, and well, I don't. That's only until they get actually on the track. Are you able to join as well? There you go. Perfect.
With Marussia?
Both apparently driving with the Marussia. Right, I'm just trying to press ready every once in a while, see if I can join in. So it seems to work. There you go. People are heading towards the race. Texon isn't there yet, so I guess you have to wait a bit longer. So I'm happy to know that this actually works. This is good. There we go.
And now we can go.
Joining the session. So let's see what we have. Do we start with sunlight, clouds, light rain, or even heavy rain? Heavy rain by the looks of it.
Nice.
Or intermediate weather at the very least. So this is going to be a very interesting few laps in the beginning of this race for sure. As we're waiting for the players to get to line up on the grid. Once everybody's on the grid and synced up, we should be getting the spectate sign or button soon enough. I'm not hearing any sound for some reason. It's a bit unfortunate, but they should be alright once we actually get in there. So
until we wait, I would like to ask you, what do you think about the penalties happened last race? I mean, for the Brazilian GP.
Well, if there was a clear rule against it before the race for the one with Massa, then yeah, there you have it. But apparently other people did it as well, and they got warnings, and he got a penalty. Maybe he did it too many times, I don't know. But if he did it once and got a penalty, then yeah, that just ain't right. Since I heard also a radio message during the race against Webber, like don't go over that white line anymore, we'll also get a penalty, or we got no more warnings. I think that's what this engineer said to him.
I've heard that at the driver's briefing there was a rule for this, but I can't understand why they have to wait like 20 years to do.
Well, no, it's not like the what's the word I'm saying? They weren't allowed to cut the white line still, because they were doing it throughout the race, but they were not allowed to cut a certain section or all wheels over the line, which apparently some guys did on some occasions.
Yes, but this rule wasn't in effect until this year's race, and I don't know why they did this rule actually.
Well,
I know because they want to defend the car that is going into the pits, but at that section you don't actually brake, and so.
Well, it's clear enough when somebody goes into the pit, because they have to stay within the white lines for pit entry from the start. They can't make a light dive in there.
Yes, so actually I just can't. I know why Massa is angry actually, and he's also angry because, as I heard from Alonso, he would have let him pass for the podium place.
So people taking a lot of time. There we go. Am I just being... There we go. Now we're going on track. Good look from Zav. And get the action going. I don't actually see any lights shining from this point of view, but we're on the way now. Everybody gets off the line relatively cleanly. It's full wet weather. Sexton seems to have more grip, but Zav taking lead. Here comes the spray. Everybody's taking it easy in corner number 1. We're only 5 guys, so no need to take risks. Texon trying to defend from Desi. And this might actually be the last that we see of Sav. At least there's guys behind him there. Ooh, Texon being a bit naughty, cutting that corner, number 4. Sav touches the grass, but we seem to have a safe first couple of corners. Let's see who's got the best wet weather car at the moment. Should become clear soon enough. Oh no! Sav goes off. Texon goes off. Desi goes off. Ooh, and Sav goes from first position to last position, hitting the gravel more than anybody else. Let's see who's actually now in front. It's Include. There you go. The Include of course profited the most. Texon suffered less. He actually didn't lose a position at all. So there you have it, wet weather fun. Daniel slotted up to 3rd place. Dazzy is in 4th, so lost 1 position. Yeah, and there's the man who lost so far his all his work from qualifying. So he'll probably be waiting. Ooh, seems to have little grip on the braking. And Daniel goes wide into the last corner. Maybe Desi an opportunity if Desi can get the power down properly. But in the wet it's going to be very hard to do an out-braking maneuver. Let's see if he tries anything. No, he thinks better of it. Oh, Desi got disconnected very early on. Oof, Texon is having grip issues just like everybody else. So that's at least 1 place recovered for Zav. But yeah, he does lose his teammate. Just not good for the constructors. Ooh, look how much Daniel's suffering for grip. Here comes Sav on the left, probably diving on the inside soon enough. There you go. Not wasting any time, makes a clean pass. 30 S's. And let's see if he can make a charge up the front. When McLaren goes wide a little bit. But everybody sticks it.
So it will be the question of when Saul will hunt down the McLarens.
Indeed. Well, Daniel's actually not really letting go of his back at the moment. He's sticking with him for the time being, but he does seem to lose on traction compared to the Toro Rosso driver.
Oh, Texon very wide, very wide. He's just cutting the corner.
Cuts a chicane that may give him a penalty. So Hopefully he gets away with it with a warning. So now, of course, if the rain starts dying down, it all becomes a question of when the pit. Saab is still having a hard time with this car.
User joined your channel.
Very slippery there. Sorted.
Oh, we have a third commentator here now.
Yeah, he was not actually in the race.
It's me, Dazzy.
That's unfortunate, Dazzy. A short race for you today.
Yeah.
Was the game crash or just a plain old disconnection?
Oh, my PC crashed.
Your whole PC crashed. Alright, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not Coastmaster's fault for once then, eh?
No, it's something wrong. It just crashes sometimes.
Ooh, Sav goes off again up the hill.
Oh,
Makes
and
it a
then
dangerous entry, but Daniel can avoid him by going over the grass. Some avoiding action needed by Daniel here. But Sav is already right on the back of him again. Let's try to get with Sav here. See if he makes a lunge from the inside. Daniel keeps a little bit in the middle of the track, giving Sav very little room. So smart driving from Daniel. Ooh, you can hear Sav's car sliding through the corner, but it's the same for Daniel. And he is using Curse to get on the back of him. Gets out the spray. Nope, cannot make a lunge, but Daniel goes wide and gets the position anyway. They're all very, very cautious on the throttle, but he seems to make it stick.
Just feathering the throttle very hard. These conditions are very hard for them.
Indeed. It will be worse when the rain starts letting up. If it lets up, of course. But the two McLarens have brought themselves a nice little gap now. And Sav seems to be, once he gets his, doesn't make any mistakes, he seems to be pulling away from Daniel with relative ease. And by the look of the mini-map, it seems the lead McLaren is slightly pulling away from his teammate there. They just now go on the main straight. Of course, there's no DRS, and the weather conditions are what they are. Now, it might be me from this point of view, but the rain might be letting up a little bit.
In the meantime, well, Desi is here, so we might just do an interview.
Okay.
And could you tell me what were your hopes for this race?
I was hoping for podium, but that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. No, that's very unfortunate. One question though, your first hot lap was on the primes, and then you went out again on the options. Why was that?
I totally forgot to look at the weather, so I should have gone out with options first.
In this case, with the rain straight out, that would have been the better choice, but Daniel seems to be losing a lot of grip. Could it be intermediate weather already?
Still a lot of standing water, so
Indeed.
doubt it.
This track is very hard, especially in wet.
Indeed.
In some corners, it's like unbelievable.
If it was real of one, Charlie Whiting probably wouldn't have started the race then. So in the meantime, the lead McLaren seems to be pulling even further away from his teammates. Saab is about the same distance down. So the gaps seem to have spaced out quite evenly here. And Include seems to be the most comfortable here. Oh, cuts the chicane a little bit. Decides to take it on the inside, knowing he wasn't going to make it anyway.
So he's just cutting the chicane. This is breaking point, but the rain definitely in some parts has stopped.
Yep, I only see a small drizzle now on the main straight. Just some few raindrops or nothing at all, so yeah. That little mistake has cost Saf some more time though, so all it works he's doing seems to be also his undoing a little bit. This include goes wide in corner number 3. It seems that the rain has almost all but stopped, and these guys are really struggling in the corners. But yeah, that's still hard to tell. It's really going to be a little guessing game to see who's going to stop first. As Texon loses the rear a little bit on the exit. Now on the run down to the hairpin. See what's going down on with Zav and Daniel. Let's keep an eye on the lead cars to see if anyone is gonna guess a pit stop soon.
I'm guessing they will start this lap, I think, because it seems that they are starting to struggle on the wets. Of course, with a 50% raise, the tire scaling is in effect. So they have smaller tire life, maybe 10 or 12 laps for the wets.
10 laps.
So the two McLarens are going. Everybody stays on track for the moment. So everybody's comfortable enough still.
And Texon is really off at the first corner. And he has spun.
Loses one position. Daniel's patient enough to wait. Not wanting to cause an incident. So this might be the sign. It might be time to switch to inters, or he maybe just simply missed his braking point. There you go. Texon is losing a lot of grip now.
That first turn is just unbelievably hard in conditions when you don't have the right tire life and or it's wet. It's just unbelievably that back of the car will step out, or because you are going down from a hill, a kind of a hill, the front tires will lock it. Ooh, using them too hard, and
there you go. So Texon's grip is gone. Now it could be just worn tires, but I think its conditions is already dry. I don't see any raindrops coming onto the track. So they must be thinking of Inter soon, at least Texon might be. So he doesn't seem to be anywhere near as comfortable as the guys ahead of him now. So let's look. The first McLaren is making a pit stop. He's staying out. Include is not pitting quite yet. Let's see what Saab is doing. Saab is following his example. Daniel also staying out on track.
And Texon too.
Texon too. So alright, so nobody is willing to make a gamble yet. I think they're all waiting for each other. And Saab seems to have got some pace going now, but doesn't really seem to be getting much closer to Include at the moment. There you go, a little bit sliding on the rear. So far Texon seems the most unstable at the moment in these conditions. So there you can see the McLaren just in view from the rear view of Daniel there. Goes wide.
Well, I'm off, guys. So
Alright, have a good evening, Desi. Sorry about the race.
Yeah, good evening, and let's hope for a better luck next time.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Alright.
User disconnected from your channel.
So there you go. That was Desi. Texan seemed to have sort of regained his confidence a little bit. Seems to be closing the gap with Daniel. And I think Include is going on again on the wets. By the looks of it, yes. He's not pitted yet. Ooh, Texan cuts the chicane. Both don't going to gain any advantage here. So he loses a tenth on what. Daniel goes wide on the exit again.
I'm surprised they're not coming in. I mean, the tire seems to be ready for Inters and they're staying out at the moment.
Still bone dry in terms of real water, no more extra water getting on track. But yeah, I don't see much of a line appearing yet, so...
But there are places, not in the first sector, but in the third sector, noticeably there is a drier line, I believe, which could work out for them.
I'll keep an eye on that, see if there's anything forming in the corners yet. I mean, these two guys at the back might be thinking of trying something. There is a slight line actually forming through the corners 5 and 6. I saw a small little patch drier than offline, so they might think it's too risky to change. It's very faint, but it's there. And furthermore, I think Include is still extending his lead over Sav, which he should do as best as he can, because Sav, when it's going to be dry, that man is going to be very, very quick.
Include is staying out still for another run.
Staying with Texan for the moment. It's the closest battle, or the battle going on track. Oh, Daniel misses his braking.
So he's coming in.
So Zav is the first to put. Daniel follows. So these are guys are gonna make the initial gamble. Let's see. Let's move up ahead. Oh, it's not bringing me to Zav. I would like to see Zav in the pit lane.
So did lose time because he had
He
cut
goes
the
to
chicane.
another set of wet tires. So he's not taking a
Interesting.
tire change. That's indeed interesting. What does Daniel do? He goes to Inters. So let's follow Daniel and see what happens as soon as he gets down on the power.
I think Saud had a mistake with the tire selection, because I don't think it can be the right call with the drying tech. He will stay at, I think, 2 laps with these wets and change back to intermediates.
I think it's about the cutoff times. Daniel doesn't seem to have too much problems getting on the power.
He has a much more stable car now. I believe
seems about
Saud
right.
had a mistake.
So let's keep a little bit of eye and see what happens between him and Zav at the moment. About 7.5 seconds is the gap between Zav and Daniel with the hairpin. Let's try it cutting again.
Include coming in.
There you go. To be expected, he should probably switch into Inters as well.
And he has cut the chicane too. It's very hard at braking point for everybody.
In these conditions, it sure would be.
Wouldn't be surprised if Texon would follow suit. And he doesn't.
Interesting.
May as well take the lead.
Zav also stays out on track. So one.
No, Include is staying in front.
Gap seems to actually have increased a little bit. So yeah, it's about the halfway point. So not one tire seems to have an advantage over the other just yet. But yeah, it seems to be going the way of the Inters very soon. If not this lap, then maybe the next.
Now what Daniel's problem might be that if he changes to Inters too early, these tires have a 8 laps lifespan, and maybe the track won't be dried out after 8 laps, and then he has to change for another intermediate. So this is also a disadvantage of pitting early.
It's true, but if like these guys stay out too long, that advantage of him having pit extras would almost be gone because they would lose so much time over the lap. He probably just gets his pit stop back again. But we'll see. Texon seems still alright. But yeah, Include seems to be really plowing away from these guys, and Daniel is now also picking up the pace compared to the guys in front of me. He's definitely a lot closer now, so if these guys don't stop this lap, they're gonna lose a lot in the coming one, I believe. Oh, there you go. Texon misses his braking completely, goes very slow to avoid penalty, and he finally pits. I'm assuming Zav will follow him.
No, it don't.
He goes, he doesn't. This could cost the Frenchman dearly. He's already suffering on traction, and Daniel is coming up behind him quickly. I mean, he might be thinking...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just saw that he had inters on.
Alright, good. Sav is now struggling in the corner in the braking, so this is probably the moment where Sav will lose his advantage in the race. Daniel's already behind him. Sav leaves room, he can't even make it around the corner. Just lets him go, knowing it is futile to follow. Daniel takes a wide line there to make sure he doesn't make contact. So Sav now probably realizes the error, the result of his decision to stay out for another lap. There's definitely a dry patch on this straight to be seen. It's a bit darker than the rest of the track on the right. So there you have it. So this is all good for Include in front.
But this is with what this is South race gone, I think. For first
Yeah,
place,
it's unless these guys in front make a mistake on the second pit stop onto dries, he has a lot of ground to make up, because there you go, Include, he is everywhere now, and there you go, Include is already on the start finish line, and he still has to make his pit stop. If he's lucky, he's gonna stay out ahead of the McLaren behind him, Texon, but he might even lose that position, I think. There you go, he finally pits. Needs to be very cautious in this entry as well, it's a tight corner. Takes much curbs, and he will lose definitely position as well. So, yeah, he definitely stayed out a lap too long. 2 laps too long, you would say. As he now finally pits onto the inters. In terms of where he should be the safest, that's for sure. As you said earlier, if they don't last that long.
Track is seems to be even drier now. On the outside line there's still some standing water, but on the ideal line it's just very bit of water, and in 3 laps I think it will start to clear out.
Still a lot of spray coming off the tires. The field is properly spread out now. But yeah, there's still some patches of puddles of water on the side of the track. The clouds are slowly breaking up. Getting some more sunlight on this track should speed up the drying. Stuff goes a bit wide. Surely he must feel a bit frustrated by now. Go now with your race leader Include. Quite comfortable. I think Daniel came in a lap too early, but Include was wise to follow him in a lap later. And that was the best moment, it seems. He hasn't lost his position at all. But you can't say that Daniel made a bad decision either, because he made it up to 2nd place now. So.
Yes, we will see how fast the track will dry out, and I will be interested in their choices when they will come into pit.
There's still plenty of puddles in the second part of Sector 1 and into Sector 2 there. Look at that. You don't want to miss your line there. Include has almost half the track ahead of Saab at the moment. must be feeling very comfortable at the moment. The hard choices aren't done yet, of course. They still have to wait for the crossover point onto the dry tyres. Of course, there's a lot of spray coming up now, so right now we'll be way too early. Maybe Sav or something, or maybe even Texon will make a gamble again. Ooh, there you go. Daniel a bit unstable on the exit. Let's swap over to our third place man. Taking a cautious line through the chicane. He already missed it a few times today.
In the position of Sao, I would try rise in the next lap, I think.
There will be a gamble.
Yes, in this game usually the track don't have to be bone dry for a dry tire to work.
Yep.
Even if there is spray, the slicks can
Great work.
work.
That's a new fastest lap for
And
the
The
race.
problem is getting them up to temperature, I think.
In the last year's game it was a bit of a problem. In this it's much easier.
Well, you still have to be careful on not going offline in that case, because if you do hit that water, you will lose grip quickly.
Yes, you have to stay on the ideal line, and
The track is drying up quickly though, so this Texon here seems to be having trouble staying on the racing line already. Let's see if maybe Include is willing to take a risk. No, he's
No, he
staying out.
shouldn't. He can just wait for the others.
That's definitely for sure. What is Daniel going to do? Is he going to be the brave man once again? I think they actually, on this stage of the race, they probably should go for 2 option stints, because you wouldn't make it with 1 prime.
But they have to wait then to the 18th lap to be safe on those options.
Indeed. So maybe that's what they're all trying to do, stay as long as they can so they can get the faster tyres. So far everybody's staying out. Yep, Zav as well.
But I do believe it's good enough for dries now.
Yep, Zav is taking a little line on the wet. Just keep his tyres on temperature. Or maybe he had to just scratch his nose or something. This guy's getting brighter and brighter. Zav goes very wide after corner number 2 into 3rd. They still have to be very, very cautious through 3 and 4. There you go, race leader Include. Nice little front nose view. The racing line seems to be properly dry now, so not a lot of moisture to be seen, but he's staying out. If you look at the tires, there's still a lot of spray coming off.
Daniel is cooling the tires on the straight.
So we might see some people taking a gamble. The tire wear on the track being what it is, it might be too much, and Daniel is not pitting yet. Texon also staying out. Let's see if Sav is maybe going to make a gamble. See if he can make up some time. Nope, he's not trying anything risky this time.
No, you might be right, and they are waiting for the right time to put on those 2 sets of option tires.
For sure.
And those tires can only last for 6-7 laps if you want to be quick on them.
Well, in that case, actually, the ideal time is almost coming up, and they're only at lap 17 of 18, so 2 option stops should be possible. The side goes a little bit wide here on the exit of 4th, but yeah, track conditions are getting dry all the time, so it's going to be harder for these inters with each and every lap that they stay out. Still spray coming off the tyres of Include. he reaches the chicane. Let's see what he does. He seems to have increased his lap over Daniel even more than before. And he's the first man coming in. Alright, so what is he gonna do? Options or primes? My safe bet would probably be 2 option stints. I think a prime stint would be too long.
Actually, he has so much of a gap that he can decide with safety.
Yep, and he does indeed. He goes to the options. I think Daniel is also coming in. Yep, there you go. He's following him in. So is Texon, and I hope Sav will not be stubborn. Stay out again. No, he doesn't. So everybody is pitting. And there you go. Option tires for Daniel as well. He is already on the way. Prime tires for Texon.
There you go.
So there you go. Indeed, he might be trying to get through the end here. And option tires for Sav. So there you go. Texon is probably going till the end.
It's quite a gamble for Texon, and it is for only for 2nd place. I don't know. Well, if he doesn't try, he won't be able to catch Daniel, I think. So yeah, he has to try it. But it's like seeing from the pro race, it's almost impossible to keep them alive for 12 laps.
Yep, definitely. I actually remember myself just taking the safety pit stop because I pitted a bit earlier than I wanted to, and I had the gap, and I decided to go for it instead of losing, losing more than just 2nd place. I mean, you'll probably see catching Sav will probably be catching up Texon quite quickly now. The track is definitely dry enough as they can already attack the track fully. Just a few puddles here and there, off lines on the straight, so it shouldn't be much of a problem.
I'm hearing for Saints that Tex is going to the end. He confirmed it.
Right, so yeah. Let's hope the tyre wear on the McLaren is manageable then in the last laps. Because Sav really seems to be storming towards him now. 1:34.830. And that is by far the quickest lap. He's even about a second and 1.1 seconds quicker than Include. So let's hope for Include that Texon can hold him up a little bit.
Texon going a bit wide at turn 4.
Yeah. Allowing Sav to get even closer. And he might actually be almost within this DRS zone by the end of the lap. So the rain set out much longer than they probably all expected. And there's probably, Sav who got hurt the most of it still. He's lucky in that sense that Desi got disconnected. That would sort of give him a decent result, but still. Watching now from the back of the Texon's car. Looking at the Toro Rosso, just closing that gap quite quickly there. Doesn't seem to be close enough for DRS just quite yet. See, no, he's not in the DRS zone yet. So he's chasing hard. Always using a bit of curves on the main straight after start-finish line, so that's a bit interesting. Ooh, goes very wide, doesn't lose too much. Goes wide again. So he's pushing to the limits and actually over the limits at times. Of course, if he does that too many times, he will get penalized for it. Ooh, right on the edge of the gravel. Definitely within the 1 second now, so he'll probably be lining up at the chicane. Or probably on the main straight turn 1 he will try to make the pass. Partly by the speed he's going, he's going to go get past him as soon as possible. There's 131 one now, so a very quick lap, and Texan will be able to do nothing towards him. Keeps the white line, forces Texan to take him on the outside. Whoa, squeezes him a little bit there. Oof.
And Texan giving back the favor.
Oh,
And what is that?
What the hell are they doing? This is very poor sportsmanship there. Maybe lost car control, maybe they were just trying to annoy each other, but that ain't right.
This will be something to look back at.
Definitely.
And so he's just giving up.
By the
I
looks
think.
of it. Yep. No, he's going for, no, there you go. He just disconnected with that, so not very happy. That's definitely something to look into for the stewards afterwards. But yeah, Softs could have stayed in there. A bit disappointed to see him leave this race though. Well, it looks like last week there are only 3 people left now. Very far apart from the track.
Yeah, we're back at square one.
I mean, Saab is in the lead of the championship, I think, or at least very close to it. I mean, even if he stayed on track, he would still get 4th positions, which is like, what, 12 points or something?
But I'm sorry to say, but this kind of behavior is what I despise
Yep.
a bit, because even if somebody just push you off, there are the stewards for that. They can investigate, but you don't retaliate. I mean, come on. In real life, that could be a bet.
Well, maybe he simply lost the car on track, but yeah, just retaliating and then just quitting altogether. It's, I mean, even if you get hit on the track, just don't quit. You could still get some points out of a race.
But he would have definitely get at least 12 points, since there were just 4 drivers.
Exactly, so I'm not sure why he did that. I guess that's an old-fashioned gamer's rage quit there. So yeah, I don't think we're going to be expecting much change at this race at all in these standings. But yeah, that little incident there is definitely going to need some looking into. Just bad behavior by both drivers by the looks of it. Maybe Saints were able to tell some more going by, because he's actually in their chat room as well.
I don't know, from my side, it was just him squeezing a bit Texan,
Yep.
and I don't know if Texan, because I wasn't looking at Texan, maybe he lost his braking point, or maybe he began the retaliation, I don't know. But what Saul did otherwise was, it was obviously a retaliation. So.
Yeah, but I think Taxon just basically tried to do the impossible by outbraking a guy on the option tires, especially when it's soft, so that wasn't quite alright. I mean, if Taxon would have gotten a position back and Saab just acted like normal, nothing would have been really the matter, I think. Maybe Taxon would have gone to penalties still, and Saab would have still gotten third place. There you go, that's something to discuss after the race. Let's see how our race leader is doing. Lap 23, 30 laps. We'll probably be pitting one more time in this lap or the next. Probably going up one more lap, I think, or at least one more lap. 6 laps should be safe on the options he goes through. I mean, in the very least, I don't think Taxon will be able to gain second position over Daniel after that, because just look at the gap between those two.
Yes, so I think if nobody does a mistake, we have the results.
Yep.
But still, anything can happen.
Indeed, depending on what the stewards might say, because yeah, you're gonna bet your ass that the incident is gonna be looked after between Taxon and Saab, and both drivers might be reprimanded for that, for their actions respectively. Sorry, I had to cut out there for a second. Still with Daniel here, and let's see if Texon actually got any damage. Now his car seems to be fine. I know that at least Saab got some wing damage, but it seemed to be minor since he was going through anyway.
It's his problem if he can't have the motivation to fight. I mean, even if he would get he would have got 3 points, and now Infeld is coming into the pits. And he just decided not to continue. I know if you are angry you can make bad decisions, but I mean, come on. And he's...
There you go, I think Include is in the pit lane. Daniel stays out on track, I believe. There you go. Saab is actually letting me text that he's done with it, but I think action by Texon. I don't think the retaliation is as fair anyway, so I don't have to bother giving Saab a penalty since he's now resigning from the championship.
He is?
Yep, he just sent me a Steam message.
Well, what can I say?
I mean, why do we have the penalty system in place if people are just... Saab knows everybody has to record. He can report the incident, but instead he just goes on raging. That's a basic overall mentality problem, I believe.
Not for a lot of people in these leagues. At least I didn't hear too many people being that angry. At the Pro League, yes, we had a bit of fight between 2 drivers, but this kind of rage I never seen in these leagues until now. Or maybe I'm just not really updated about these things. But sorry to say this, but this is outrageous.
Yep. I'm chatting to Saab at the moment now a little bit as well. Telling about his options. He knows he can report an incident, he knows that Tex will probably get a penalty, and instead he just rams into his car. People make mistakes. Texon makes mistakes. Saab will undoubtedly make mistakes sometimes. Include here will probably make some mistakes. Daniel will make some mistakes from time to time.
But you know the Maldonado attitude from real F1 that yeah, everybody can make mistakes, but not yourself. There are those kind of people.
He basically let the game got to him and he just rage quit it. That's simple as that.
Now, before everybody would say that I'm just hating on this guy, I'm not trying to be biased. I'm just, how should I say? I can't respect drivers who behave like that. And I don't know. I don't want to say hard things, but can't think of anything else.
Yeah, it was looking like a retaliation. I mean, it could be that he lost his car, but he made no mention of that. At least not to me, at least so far.
No, after what he messaged, that was a retaliation from Saul, from Texan. We have to say on board. See whether
Texan made a clear judgment error, but Saab just let himself go basically, and just As cleanest that I can say it. Has Daniel actually pitted yet? I don't think so. Has it?
He did.
He did. Oh, there you go. I was surprised if he hadn't.
Seeing Texan's tires, I don't think he will make it to the end without falling off the cliff. He's short shifting already. There's a lot of wheel spin. He's feathering the throttle, so he will have trouble going to the end of the race, but he can't lose positions, so he might just try to...
South still leaving frustrated messages for me.
Anger management, you need anger management.
Yes, cool.
I mean, I can speak as a driver in these leagues, and you also. How many times were we pushed, like you in Canada, against with Crazy B, and those little pushes I got, and were we angry that much?
Angry and
That
disappointed
much that we
mostly.
Okay, but that much that we rage quit and
I
retaliate.
don't think I ever rage quitted. Maybe I don't think I've ever rage quitted out of any session that I did.
Well, I can't say the same, but I never rage quitted from a league race or social race.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. I think I
maybe
quitted maybe some like sprint races.
Yes,
Getting
when
too
you get-
dumb.
when you get those drivers from the internet whose favorite hobby is just to crash people.
Yeah, who actually use the same braking spot in the middle of a pack as they would when they were alone on track, so which of course never works. And usually it ended up with me suffering for it, getting knocked off track. I actually never really do sprint races that often.
Oh, Winkrood makes a mistake at the chicane. Just a bit of just sliding on the curb, but he has come back, continuing to lap.
Texon is sticking with his tires, but yeah, he is not anywhere near closer to Daniel than he was before. So the tire choice he made was definitely the wrong choice.
And I see the tires are definitely going off. You can see in the middle that line
Indeed.
which is developing.
And also on the exits now, he's struggling to get the power down. So he's going into the penultimate lap now. Up 29, up 30.
The first corner will be interesting because you get major oversteer.
Yeah, well, if he's smart in that sense, he'd just probably safer off on driving on Lee mix. That should help at least a little bit. I mean, he's not gonna get second place. So he might as well just bring it home instead of just crashing off somewhere.
Yes, he's only, but even the slow corners he's just sliding, so it will be a good journey to the last lap and to the finish. Rough
It'll
journey.
be funny to see, that's for sure. So there you go. Here's Include coming up at the last corner now. We're gonna follow him for the last lap. With this crappy, supposedly T-cam. Maybe what I know, I kind of hate these spectator camera modes. They should like bring in like the camera view, maybe the offset T-cam. At least like viewpoints that make sense to be there in the spectator mode. But I don't.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you. Maybe for next year's game we will have something like that.
I mean, and surely it won't take much effort just to choose a little camera mode. I mean, these camera modes already exist for the player in their own replay mode, so why just not add them here? It would really help League Racing and their sort of broadcasting thing is here, but there you go, doesn't really matter. We'll make it work somehow. As he now
Saints
reaches
is-
the hairpin for the last time.
Sainz is saying to me that it is not possible to do a TCMU for spectator mode because of the game engine, and Texan is just sliding again at turn 2.
To be expected. He should be on pretty damn worn tires. So the fact
Oh,
that
he's sliding everywhere. He's fallen off the cliff now. Oh, and spinning almost.
He's staying with Include here until the end. We can enjoy Texan's lap after these two boys have finished. So Include did nothing wrong today. He got everything right and is the deserved victor for this event here today. And he takes the win here in Germany. Daniel, I can only say the same for him as well. Made some good choices in his race. Went nowhere wrong. Really, he wasn't as fast on pace as the other boys, but still takes a solid second place. Now here we go. With Texan with very worn tires, slipping and sliding everywhere. I mean, his race or his action there against South will probably be talked after. He might be get a penalty that will be carried over into the next race, but of course that will be have to discuss after the race.
Actually, I thought he will struggle more.
We're just taking it cautious.
And
Spectacular finish. There you go. The three people who pulled through have got all across the finish line. Include Daniel and Texan. With Dazzy getting an early disconnection and Zav, well, doing his doing a rage quit. And there we have our winner. And there you go. We could say we had some controversy again today at this race, for sure.
if we have controversy, at least we have something to talk about.
That's exactly right. In that case, it was very interesting to happen. I have to say, even with 5 guys with the rain, the race was interesting enough as it is. So people make their choices throughout the race on this very wet track and then a drying track. So let's hope we can have an entertaining race in that sense again next week. And I don't actually know which race they have. I don't have the calendar in front of me. Do you happen to know by top of your head where they might be going?
I don't, I'm just looking into it quickly.
Alright, so if they're following the pro calendar, they might go to Silverstone as well, but the calendars are different per championship. As this session slowly rolls to a halt.
They will go to Belgium for the
Belgium,
next race.
there you go. The high-speed classic track. So we will see you then in 7 days in Spa-Francorchamps. Hope to see you guys there. Bye bye.
Good night.